I speak now, we are streaming live on YouTube for the record. Now, it is always a pleasure. Okay, so we are live on YouTube now. It is always a pleasure when I have the opportunity to talk to especially new people about Bitnest. Why? Because personally, I have a very, very interesting um, story or experience about Bitnest. Just like you, I was presented with, or maybe unlike you, I was even presented with this opportunity several months back, and I turned it down. Why? I turned it down because I didn't understand what they were doing. Because I rather chose to listen to naysayers and what have you about what this opportunity is about. And then because I concluded that nothing good online would ever come. Well, for those who don't know me, I have been in this space since 2011, and I have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? But then it happens that just like the video we watched earlier on, sometimes in life you have to keep trying, you have to keep trying, and the only point you decide you feel like giving up, little would you know that the goal you've been chasing all your life is just around the corner. And that near success syndrome almost hit me too. Now, let me not bother you so much about me, but let me take you straight into action. And good evening to all the leaders in the house, Derek and your boys. Today, I have my videos turned off because Derek said he doesn't really like my shades. That's just for the lighter note. I'll be coming on with my video, but let's go back into the reason why all of us are here, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk to you about Bitnest. Bitnest is, I lack the words to describe the level of standard this opportunity has brought to the blockchain space. But then I'll try my possible best not to be not to be technical at all. I will try my best to break it down in a way you will understand the way I do. Now, what is Bitnest and what are they into, and why have they been in existence for the time you have been told? I'm sure whoever invited you may have told you this thing has been running on for more than 2 years. Yes, more than 2 years. What is Bitnest and what they do now? Bitnest is actually a smart contract, okay? Now, in a fast-moving world, the world is moving at a pace that even old technologies are struggling to catch up with new inventions. One of those greatest inventions happens to be blockchain. When blockchain came into the scene, a lot of old guys who, under normal circumstances, as usual, when a new thing is about to hit, when a new thing is about to become the order of the day, it normally faces a lot of, skepticism and a lot of, naysaying and a lot of talk down from existing old big giants who feel they own everything around and they must always be in charge. When blockchain came as a technology that disrupts every single aspect of our lives, starting from our finances. So the blockchain actually gave birth to the first ever cryptocurrency called Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin started way back in 2008, a lot of these big guys talk it down because they fail to understand it. It sounded nonsense to them, and they feel, it's simply not possible for a single digit or a single currency to actually take the power from those centralized or those big boys. I mean, those who refer to themselves as somebodies of today, to take that financial power from them and hand it over to the ordinary people. The concept didn't make sense to them. Similarly, it was just like in those days when the idea of internet and all those things were coming up, I read a story of someone who said he raised a pair of shoe and said, listen, in the next few months, the internet is really going to make it possible for you to buy this pair of shoe online. The whole audience look at him funny. It sounded so funny because what they were used to is the fact that if you need a pair of shoe, you walk into a shop, you pay for it and you pick it up. It doesn't make sense for somebody to think that you can just sit at home and just start, using your internet to order a pair of shoes and it will get to you without you having to move an inch, right? Fast forward to today, what happens? Tell me what cannot be done with the internet. Again, similar examples have been achieved with how how technologies like the Uber came in and changed the narrative. Gone are the days when you tell somebody you can actually just sit at home, pick your smartphone, and then request for a ride without necessarily calling a certain middleman. And there's a technology that will connect both, people who have car wanting to, um, to rent out or to use to pick you up from one place to another, and people who also need, your services without calling a middleman. It sounded so unreasonable to the wise of those times. However, Uber came in and proved that it is possible through technology, right? And in the same way, even this thing that a lot of people think is not possible has been happening way too long without knowing. Now, Bitnest is actually a smart contract that has been built on this blockchain, a smart contract. Now, when we say something is smart, let me start with the invention of mobile phones, right? You remember there are the days, gone are the days we used to have what we call the analog devices or analog phones, right? And then it transformed itself into what we call the smartphone. You observe that there are other features or added features that a regular smartphone could do that the old phone could not do. For instance, it would have been hard, for instance, if you install what in our part of the world we call YAM, right? YAM, these analog phones with your keypad and a lot of alphabets written on it, that even if you want to send message to type on the word there, you have to click like 5 times and 6 times to be able to construct a simple message. When a smart device came in, you realize that eventually it wiped out not entirely, but it almost wiped out the services of the old analog phone, right? Same way, when it comes to contracts, what we are used to, for instance, let's say I always use this, let's say I have a car and I want to sell the car. Then I make my intention known that I want to sell this car. Then somebody elsewhere I do not know, I cannot trust, comes in and say, look, I would like to buy the car. All you need to do is just send me the car and the papers, sign and transfer ownership to me, and I will send the money to your account. You realize that there will be always room for, one person doubting another, or even if you don't doubt, there's room for exploitation by one of these guys, right? Now, what will actually mean is that we need to find a middleman who will stand in to ensure that I bring the car and the documents, and then the buyer also brings the money, and we all meet at my end. When you meet at my end, I give the money to this middleman. I give my car and the document to the middleman. You also give your money to him. We all ensure that there is, there's agreement in an analog form, in an old form on a piece of paper, meaning that I have decided to let go of my car to you, and you have also decided to let go of your money to me. That is a contract. Now, when it comes to a smart contract, this is a contract that has been empowered to self-execute when certain conditions are met. For instance, we have a site or a platform called Bitnest. A Bitnest is promising its users that when you engage in a loop, I will explain. Let's say, when you put your money down into my platform, I'm going to put this money to work, and give back the returns that I will generate from this money to you with no other middleman, right? Now, before this contract will hold, one, certain conditions must apply. One, you should be willing to put your money into this system. Two, you should state how long you want this money to be in the system. And three, when that is done at the end of the contract, automatically, without needing somebody coming in, this smart contract automatically executes the other end. So you have to fulfill one part first and then the other part. Now, that is where the question comes in. What if I put my money and the Bitnest smart contract on its own refuses to do its part of the job? And mind you, that is where I say the smart contract has been empowered to self-execute when all these conditionalities are met, right? Now, how do we trust that nobody goes behind the scene to ensure that these changes along the way? For instance, business saying, I want to give you, let's say, 50% in 30 days, and then you put your money. After you put your money, then they will come up with a message and say, look, I actually promised you 50%. But looking at the market condition and news and Iraq and something and Israel and Europe and something, I am unable to do that. So I really want to, I think I can do 40, I can do 30. That will defeat the purpose of trust. So in order to avoid this, then the creators of this smart contract need to give up the right to stop this smart contract, the right to stop it from executing these agreed terms and conditions, the right to self-execute. They have to actually give any access they have to this. And that is where what we call renunciation comes in. I'll take you in there, just bear with me. I'm just laying the emphasis for you to understand that the smart contract the protocol you're about to engage with has been authorized to self-execute. Let me show you how the trust came in. Just like in the olden days till today, this thing you are about to be introduced to you have always been a partaker of a smart contract without actually knowing. Take ATM, for instance, right? If you go to your ATM, you have a card, you slot in the card, you punch how much you want to take from this machine, right? And then certain conditions must prevail. For instance, I put in a card and I said I want $100 from my account. At the end of the day, before I can say I want $100 from my account, first of all, I need to have that $100 in my account. Secondly, I need to prove that I am the owner or I have the right to use that by putting in my code. And when that is done, without any human being around, this ATM goes in there, right? And then sorts out all the different notes to give you exactly $100 out of the several millions sitting in there. It doesn't overdo it, and it also ensures that it does not allow you to over withdraw, right? That is the role of a smart contract right there, right? That is a role of something similar you're about to experience here. So what do we do on this platform? Is very simple. We provide lending to another set of world behind the scene who also come to borrow, and then the earnings realized from this activity is paid to you, the owner of the provider of the bank. Think of it like the regular financial institution. You put your money at the bank. They don't keep your money there waiting for the day you come to withdraw. No, what they do is they take these funds up, they give it out, they loan it out to people, they invest it in other businesses to generate revenue. The only sad part is that they do not return the earnings or the interest or profit they have generated using your funds. They keep your funds as it is for you to come. And in most cases, at the end of the month, they end up even charging you when they are using your money to make money. Fairness demands that if you are using my money to generate money, at least share profit with me. Don't come back and even charge me. When it comes to Bitnest, you provide the money goes to work. At the end of the day, the interest generated on your money or the profit or any other thing comes directly to you, right? That is simply what we do here. And this thing has been going on for several months now. in fact, for over 2 years now, right? And the owners of this smart contract do not have any access to stopping it. I'll prove that when we get there. So now, let me take you in a little bit and talk about the main products Bitnest has. We have the loop and then the saving box. Now, in the loop, there are 4 different contracts. What it simply means is that this is me. Let's say I have $100 in my account and I want to put it to work. Now, I can decide to put it to work for 1 day, right? If I put my $100 to work at 1 day, it gives me 0.4% interest or returns at the end of 1 day. So at the end of 1 day, you see that this $100 is now turning up to what? 100.4. So at the end of the day, these funds automatically returns to my account or to my wallet, not on my account. Let me explain. The wallet here is simply your personal bank where you keep this money. Only you have access to this until you share your login or your phrases with other people. You are the one in control of this. Now, when in the context of account simply means that when you want to join Bitnest, you come, you put your email, you put your password, and you have to log into a certain central users area, and then you put the money there. And when you circulate at the end of the day, the money comes to the account. No. What it simply means is that somebody will be asking, what if the money comes to the account and it is time for me to withdraw? I come to make withdrawal and the site is down, right? But you have a smart contract that runs on the blockchain, not on Bitnest website. This only allows you access to know what you are actually engaging in. For instance, imagine I come here and the page is blank. How will I know I'm clicking on 1 day or even switching it to 7 days, 14 days, or even 28 days? So this serves as my eye into the system just to allow me to put this money in. Let me take it slow with you. Now, like I mentioned earlier, 1 day gives you 0.4%, 7 days gives you 4% returns, right? And then 14 days gives you 9.5%, 28 days gives you 124% at the end of the contract, right? Since it is my money, I will now determine, okay, I want to go for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and then hit circulation. The funds now moves from my wallet and then goes straight into the blockchain, and then it goes to work. Now, the big question is, how do they generate this money? How do they generate money to pay me such outrageous, returns at the end of 28 days? Because we're talking about, even if you buy securities from your bank, let's say what's the name? Something like, how do you call that one? Treasury bills for even 365 days. They'll give you 10, 20%. I'm not sure they even cross 20%. But then you have a platform that gives you 24% in. How do they do it? It is very, very simple. Let me take you back home and show you something very practical. We, on one side of Bitnest, you and I are providers of these funds, right? There is another world of people who actually come to Bitnest, and then their mission is to come and borrow funds, right? And this is also another smart contract on its own, which self-executes. So let's say I want to maybe borrow, let's say $100,000 from Bitnest. Let's say I want to borrow $100,000, or I want to loan from our liquidity pool $100,000. The process requires that, first of all, I need to deposit either BTC or Ethereum as security or as a collateral. Why do they need collateral assets? One, because they have to protect your funds. The funds you put in must be protected. And another question is, why would somebody put down BTC or Ethereum and come for USDT? If I have, let's say, one BTC, for instance, why would I want to put it down to take 100,000. One BTC is trading around 115,000. So I could have just sold my BTC and used the money for something. Yeah, I know you are thinking about that too. But here's the case. I would also ask you back, why do the rich use their houses, their properties as collateral to take monies from the banks? Because they are so sure of what they're going to do with the funds. They know they're going to raise whatever interest these banks are charging, and they're also going to make profit. For instance, let's say I am a forex trader. I have a setup that I'm so sure of is going to give me money. However, this asset that I have, which is BTC or Ethereum, they are very volatile in nature. What it means is that as we speak now, BTC can be trading around 105,000. Tomorrow, it may be trading around 90,000, or it could also be trading around 200,000. And in most cases, these customers do not want to miss the potential flies that could actually come out of this token. They would rather use it as collateral to receive these funds. Now look at something very interesting happening here. I want to take 100,000, right? We all know that one BTC is 118,000, right? When you look at the calculation for one day, it is telling me that I need to provide security deposit of 1.4621 BTC. This is what I need to put down. Now, if you value this, if you check the evaluation of this is about 25% more than what I am coming to borrow. And when I borrow this money from this smart contract, what it allows me to do is that it charges me certain daily percentages on the average of 1.5% daily. 1.5% daily. So if I decide to go for 7 days or even 14 days or even 28 days, it even asks me to put times 2 of what I put in. Why? Because they do not want a situation where people will explore this door, come in with little amount to borrow more. Even banks don't do that. They want to have a security, a collateral, something that they can fall on when you default. So at the end of the day, this other world come to borrow these funds from Bitnest, put it to work, and then pay back the returns on their own. Now, what happens if this guy fail to pay back? It's very simple. When they provide this collateral, let's say the BTC, it goes into an escrow account held by the smart contract. And then when, let's say I choose 28 days, right? It will do the calculation and tell me within 28 days, you are supposed to return this so and so amount together with the interest. Now, if I fail to do that and the timer gets to 0, the smart contract will automatically sell my security deposit, right? It will sell the security deposit I have into BTC, into USDT, and deduct what is due me plus the interest and everything. If there's an excess balance, it will now return it back to the one who came to borrow assets. And from this activity, they generate revenue to pay you, right? Now, as we speak now, despite the fact that this contract has run for so long, we have a liquidity or a safety basket of about $39 million backing this. Now, this is not just figure. Guys, this is not just figure. This is actually a blockchain fetched data. Now, if you don't know what blockchain is like an open book, right? It keeps public, transparent record of everything. Take it like if I have access to your bank account, I can go to the ATM and punch your bank account and it tells me this is the money in the account. If I put your numbers and it tells me it is $100,000 in the account, and this is the service being provided by the bank, I should trust that, yes, you have $100,000 in your account. It's like you peeping into the account. When money moves in and out, you are able to verify on your own. So these figures, for instance, if you click on it on the site, it takes you straight to BSC scan. Now, let me tell you what BSC scan is. Because this smart contract was built on the Binance blockchain, they have their own internal scan that gives you access to look into any wallet and see or any contract and see how long they have been in existence, how much they have in there, which tokens they have in there, and all. So let's look at something. First of all, look at this contract. It tells you this contract has been created, what, 2 years, 166, 26 days ago, right? So if I mentioned earlier, or if whoever invited you to this call said, this thing has been going on and on, this is data fetch on the blockchain, which cannot be edited. This is an external. See, nobody can edit anything on blockchain, change it. Whatever data I have here, if you check from your end, is the same thing, right? That is even not my main issue here. Now, I want us to look at the total tokens being held in this wallet. And of course, you have the USDT here, 29.1 million dollars, and you also have the USDC here, about 8.9. Now, each of these figure, one USDT is always equal to $1. So the money you see here are funds going in and out. And to be very honest, this is a very busy contract. Let me show you one more thing before I come back to your screens. As we speak now, you can see a lot of transactions happening on the smart contract. Look at it. Seconds ago, you scroll down, you see a lot of activities happening in here, people receiving circulation reward and all that. Why is the blockchain able to name all this? Why? Because this is a smart contract hard-coded into the chain. So it's able to tell you exactly what sort of activities going in there, from which wallet to which wallet, and it goes on and on and on and on and on till you are able to fetch all this data. So when somebody comes to you and say, this is what I am doing, look at the level of activities in this wallet. Unbelievable. Every second, there's a lot of transaction. As transactions are going, a lot of people are getting paid because the smart contract itself is serving about 1.9 million people since its creation. The figures you see here are real data, right? 1.9 million people participating or trusting Bitnest, and then so far participants' income that has been paid. And also this data is available on the blockchain. About $524 million have been paid. As I speak, the next time I come around to refresh, you see these figures updating in real time. And we just confirm the liquidity available on the chain to tell you that you are being asked to join a very solid program with, a lot of financial backings or a lot of reserves available for you to benefit from. So now my question is this. A lot of people are going there and saying all sort of nonsense. Sorry if I have to use that word. About, oh, forget it, it's a scam, it's a scam, it's a scam. They are doing this, they are doing that. They're going to take your $100, they're going to take your $20 and $1,000 and all. Then I always throw back the question. I don't know how I would describe this thief who actually can look at, 37 or $38 million sitting in his account, and will just be luring you to come in with $100, so he takes it and runs away. No. How safe is this fund? Is there really proof that they are engaging in what they are doing? Absolutely. Anything you need to know, I can prove on this call. But I want to take a little bit of more dive into several areas. First of all, let's come back home and talk about how do you become part, how do you prepare, how much do you need to start and all. First of all, this smart contract doesn't discriminate. It is your money, it is your call. The least you can come in, even if you put 1 cent, the smart contract will accept it. It allows equal playing field for anybody. Even if $1 is your strength, you can decide to engage with a smart contract. But how do you start? First of all, you need somebody who is already a member to invite you to be part of the community. So whoever invited you to this call, you reach back to the person. If you're watching me on YouTube and you by chance on this without anybody's invitation, I'm going to drop my contact details in the first comment and pin it. Reach out to me. I will help you to set up and be part of these 1.9 million people who have seen the light, right? Who are making life transforming history with Bitnest, right? So you get a link from whoever invited you, right? And then you need a self-custodial or Web3 wallet, like as recommended, um, Token Packet. You go to Play Store or App Store, look for Token Pocket, get it downloaded, right? And then set up a new account. Set up the account in such a way that you make sure you keep your security phrase, because only you can ever recover that account if you have those security phrase. Your sponsor will help you set it up nicely. Make sure you do not share code or security phrase 12 words with anyone. You keep it safe and sacred. After that, ask him for his link to join Bitnest. Copy the link, take it to the browser section of your screen, of your app, paste it there, and then connect your wallet. Bingo, your account is ready. You can now decide to deposit any amount you want to deposit and start trading or start looping on Bitnest. Now, let me take you to the security aspect, and let me also show you what normally happens when you put in money, because it's a very special question somebody asked me over the week. He said, Jerry, what is really what is the flow of transaction? What shows that the liquidity pool being shown actually connects with Bitnest smart contract, right? So before I do that, I want to show you a few things. Okay, I'm coming. Okay, no, I'm coming. Let me first of all take you into the blockchain. And those of you who know the smart contract address of Bitnest, I was trying to just copy it from there. I'm coming. Let me fish it out here. Okay. Please bear with me. I want to show you how funds move through all these smart contracts, and then we look at the security implication of this smart contract. Coming. Sorry, my internet seems to be acting up a bit. Okay, so this is the smart contract of Bitnest, right? And this is the liquidity pool address of Bitnest. First of all, let's confirm the liquidity pool address where the funds are kept. You can refer to this as the bank where our funds are kept on Bitnest, and it's also a smart contract on its own. Watch these figures carefully. This is the address if you are new to crypto. And when you put money into this smart contract, first of all, your money goes through this smart contract of Bitnest, and eventually it passes it on to the liquidity pool. So now let's copy the smart contract address and then do some little bit of security scan on it. Let's see how sure or how safe and secure it is. I'm going to take you to an external auditing firm called DeFi. My mission here is to put the Bitnest smart contract to a test and see how strong or how solid the smart contract is, whether there are dangers involved, whether the owners have a backdoor entrance to, empty empty this wallet and all. So if you observe carefully, once I put in this, you see the name Bitnest popping up, right? Just to confirm that we are all talking about the same thing. And I'm going to click on it, and then let's do a scan. Now, this is an external security firm that has no relation, no connection with Bitnest at all. You can pick any random smart contract, bring it out here, and then let them do the job on your behalf. Now, what are the jobs? Now, you need to first of all confirm if the contract, these are very, very, very vital information. Once you scan a smart contract, first thing you want to know is, of course, you need to confirm the smart contract, you need to confirm the creator's address, and then you also need to confirm the owner. When you see a regular address like this here, my brother, no matter the story they cook, trust me, that smart contract is not properly renounced. When it is renounced, all it means is that it's just like your door. You have a door to your room, and you said, I want to give up the ownership. So the key to the door, you decide to throw it into the sea, which means that under no circumstance can you come back and you change the lock, change the key, throw it to the sea. You do not have access to that lock again. And with this kind of lock, you can also come back to break it with any form of technology, unless the blockchain entirely has been hacked before. Something that has been happening since 2008 to now. We've seen banks being hacked. We see crypto exchanges being hacked. We see a lot of nasty things happening. But the only thing nobody has been able to do before is to hack the blockchain itself. And I live to see the day that will happen. And so this smart contract address, the owner address showing this simply means that the owner has given up the right on this. But don't take just that for it. Let's look at some of the things they found while they put this smart contract into scan. Now, no vulnerable withdrawal functions found, right? No reentrancy risks found, no loss detected. These are things when you find on a smart contract will tell you that, look, you have a cause to worry. Look at something very beautiful here. It says contract cannot be upgraded. What it simply means is that after they design the smart contract and renounce the ownership and throw away the access to enter and change things again, they cannot come back to upgrade or change anything about the contract again. What it simply means is that they are saying the work is done, let the smart contract be autonomous. Let nobody influence its decision. Let it just do as we've instructed it to do. What are the instructions? If you put in your loop at the end of the period, it should automatically transfer the money to you. Whether Bitnest website is down or not, this system must happen. Secondly, when somebody is subscribing to the contract, we mentioned somewhere here that we have about $37 million sitting in the wallet. Now, if somebody wants to subscribe or put in a new contract, that warrants that he's going to earn more than this, which does not exist in this smart contract, do not accept it. These are hard codes that have been put into the smart contract to ensure that people do not oversubscribe for it to crash at the end of the day. All these features being confirmed by this external body right here. No blocking loops found. No wallet can be blacklisted from any specific contract functionality. Now, let me dwell a little bit on this. There are some projects you go in, you see people playing with small monies, $100, $200, $1,000, and they get their payment. Then you go in there as a big boy, you put in maybe 100,000, 200,000. Then when it is time for your withdrawal, they lock your wallet and they do not allow your wallet to receive. Such features are not available on the smart contract. I'm not the one saying it. This is a DeFi saying it. And look at it. No vulnerable ownership found, no retrievable ownership found, meaning that once they have given up on the smart contract, they cannot come back to take ownership of this smart contract. And overall, the ratings they have given to this whole smart contract, the score is 99 out of 100. But that's safety score. But when it comes to DeFi score itself overall, it has been given a rating of what? 97%. This is one firm. Let me do one more so we come back and take questions. Let me take you to the king of all auditing firms, which is what we call CETIC. Now, a lot of people say, I don't mind Bitnest because they have CETIC doesn't mean that it is legit. You can have a CETIC smart contract approved, and that doesn't really mean anything. And whoever says that to you, if you can hoot at the person, because obviously they really don't understand certain things. Now, if not at all, even if you are new to crypto, there are brands in here that you should know. For instance, you should know a brand called Apple, right? You should know Samsung. Where is Samsung? Where is Samsung? You should know Samsung. You have a whole Binance who relies on the security advice and auditing of this firm to stay safe on the market. So what I want us to do tonight is let's find out if genuinely, I don't want to take anything from Bitness. I want to ask CETIC, do you know a smart contract called, okay, let me start with Bitcoin. Do you know anything called Bitcoin? Let's see. There you have it, right? And Bitcoin, despite all the AAA plus, have a total ratings of 97.5%. Now, my big question is, all of us know Bitcoin is decentralized, not controlled by anyone. It is so good, it is perfect. Why does it not have 100%? It could have been 100%. I was expecting to see 100%, but I have 97.5%. That is to tell you that in this life, there are unexpected things that do happen, and blockchain itself is a new technology. There's already a very funny debate ongoing that a certain amount of supercomputers can actually hack the blockchain. In 2017, I remember when crypto crashed, that was the news they sold to the community and say, look, guys, we've been able to put up a lot of supercomputers and we are going to hack blockchain and everybody will be vulnerable. A lot of people panicked and they sold their positions, leading the market to crash. Fast forward to 2025, that hasn't happened. And then they keep coming and saying a lot of things. But what I'm trying to say is that nothing is 100% guaranteed. If not, almighty Bitcoin could have achieved 100% ratings, right? That's fair enough about Bitcoin. Now, let me ask them if they know Bitnest. And I hope I'm communicating. Yes, so the Bitnest we know is also here. Now, let's open and find out what are some of the things. And I am particularly concerned about, you see this word, centralization overview. For me, irrespective of whatever you score here, I am more concerned about the centralization overview. Why? Because a lot of projects came, they promised big. A lot of us put money in, right? At the end of the day, they fold up, they leave all of us stranded and they just rug and pick everything and go. Why do they do that? They are able to do that because one, the creators or the owners of those programs have access, they have centralized access to perform certain tasks in the smart contract in terms of distribution, or can upgrade it or have some special privileges and all. But according to CETIC, Bitnest has no such privileges. When it comes to distribution, they don't have any privilege. When it comes to upgrade, they don't have the right to update it. They have given up on the right. This is a second testimony, and the word of two witnesses against you, I mean, saying the same thing about you, could actually be considered the way it is. They also don't have any privileges or any other rights at all. However, let me shock you. When Bitnest was started about 2 years ago, the story wasn't like this, right? This story wasn't like this. when they submitted a smart contract for review, there are certain issues that were found. But then before I go into the review, look at the final note here saying it is what? Resolved, right? What issue did they find? The original Bitnest smart contract had what we call the default admin role. And that role means that the creator of the wallet could, or the smart contract could still go in and perform certain role or dictate to the smart contract when it comes to functions like set token ID or token ID, right? And there was another one called operator role, which has, a function, authority over functions that can impact things like upcoming, things like having access to the loop and then having access to increase liquidity or even decrease it and all. When these issues were spotted, they came out with recommendation that look, to make your smart contract safe and secure, you have three approaches we are recommending. First of all, you have the short-term approach. I advising them to use time lock and multi-signature. This is a story for another day. I'll go details in this. And they also have the long-term approach, asking for time lock and DAO. Don't forget, Bitnest DAO is coming up in the next few days, in the next couple of days ahead of us. And then also, they also say that the permanent approach is to renounce the ownership of the smart contract, or removing that function can be considered what? Resolved. Now, let's look at something. The alleviation. The team renounced the admin role and resolved this issue. This is according to CETIC. Now, they also provided a blockchain link to this particular transaction, which you can also go in there and verify. Now, this is the creator of the Bitnest smart contract, and then they renounce it to this, right? Now, this event happened, it was what we call revoke role. You see, the call was to revoke a role, and this function happened on exactly 433 days ago on May 28, 2024. And so most people, even like me, normally say this marks the actual birth of Bitnest. But mind you, they have been in operation per their liquidity pool age for some time, until around this time they went to resolve all these issues. And of course, when you send your smart contract for review or for security audit, it doesn't take one day, it doesn't take 1 week. In fact, it can take as long as it requires for all those findings to come out. So after going through all that and they found the issue, the team has to go to work and then make sure they resolve all these things at the end of the day, all sum up to what has made Bitnest solid. In short, what does all this mean? It simply means that the owners do not have any right or any access to manually or centrally control anything. It runs on its own. And that is the beauty of the smart contract we have here called Bitnest. So on this note, it's been 1 hour of talking, and I hope I've been able to make some very good impression. Now, at this point, I would like to humbly ask, first of all, let me acknowledge the presence of some of my legends in the house. Sammy Worth, good evening to you, my leader. Good to have you in the house. It's always a pleasure knowing you are around to back me up. Sammy here is a huge legend. I would also like to say a very good evening to you, Dr. Consti. Good to see you in the house, my special secretary and business partner in crime, Madam Chini. Good to have you. Please, if you have any question at all, you may want to raise your hand. I will help you understand if you do not understand anything. Thank you so much for listening. Derek, I see you in the house. I see you in the house. Today I refuse not to show my glass because you you said you love my glass so much.
Yes.
Good to have you around, my brother. So this is the smart contract we are inviting you to. And if you observe all our platforms, you don't get to Bitnest and you see sponsors screaming and trying to motivate anybody to take any decision. In fact, we've gotten to a point where we stop proving anything to anyone. We always tell you the truth as it is. It is solid based on the facts available on the chain, right? It is so solid. My brother Sammy, if you could raise your hand for me, I'm trying to mute you. Sammy, please raise your hand for me. I definitely need to take a word from you. Please, Sammy, raise your hand so I can see you. Right. So this is the smart contract we are talking about. And definitely you may want to get back to whoever invited you to this presentation. Ask him for a link, be part of this community. And the journey has just started. You are still an early adopter. You are still an early adopter because the journey has just started. The other phase of Bitness is about to begin. The other phase of Bitness is about to begin, and you really want to be part of it. Sammy, let's hear from you.
All right. Thank you once again. The phenomenal Jerry Dra. In fact, I can't keep, anytime I see you on the call, I have to be there, no matter how busy I am, because every day of my life, I'm always forever grateful to God for bringing me in contact with you. Because I can remember vividly when I was skeptical when I first heard about business, this project, I was a bit skeptical, because of some, unvalidated or verified um, research I felt I was making. Also coupled with some guys that thought they were coming with a real money, not knowing they were naysayers. They were people who never wanted, the best of this project because they got something else that they were trying to work to. So, to everyone on the call tonight, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining us on this call. If today is the first time, I'd love you to count yourself lucky, congratulate yourself, and also do the needful by reaching out to whoever has told you about this opportunity because this is one in a lifetime opportunity. This is an opportunity that would afford you have those dreams of yours, your aspirations, your goals in life achieved. We've got so many people, that got to know about this project, and today they are coming with a lot of, achievements that they've got with this project. Even though some of us, someone like me, I'm just barely 3 months of this project. The next couple of days or weeks, I'm gonna clock 3 months. But sincerely speaking, what I had experienced on this project in just 3 months is nothing compared to what I've been experiencing in so many other projects in the past 6 months. So, guys, Jerry has shown you all, he has validated all those information, how this contract was renounced, how the owner doesn't have any control over it again. And one thing is, you are not even meant to believe what Jerry is saying. Jerry as a person, don't believe it. I, Sammy,